Cool, what's up everyone? My name is Malachi, DJ Malix. If you're watching, then you're here on my first episode of our podcast. It is called No Exaggeration. So basically, there's a lot of reasons why we wanted to start this podcast, but the main thing is that media these days, information gets tossed around. There's no real kind of, passion for people who just want honest truth in everyday life, whether it's careers, social lives, everything like that. So basically starting this podcast is about a journey on meeting new people, asking about experiences, and stripping everything down to truth. First, before we start, I just want to thank my man Jamie. Basically, when we went to start this podcast, I had two people in mind, because you need to start with someone who's done a lot, who's branched out, who's stepped outside the square, who's actually doing something different, and that we can actually learn a few things from. And I thought of Jamie and Elijah Ngata. So Elijah is a kickboxing state champion in Australia. So he's doing very well for himself. And Jamie Henry, if you don't already know, he's a international Japanese rugby union player. He plays for the Sunwolves in Super Rugby, and he also plays for Turin in Club Rugby. But yeah, that was it. It's all about having some fun, relaxing, real people. You're gonna hear my wife and Jamie's in the back talking, but we're here catching up with Jamie. So man to man, first up, I just have to say thank you to the man Jamie for coming by. Straight up, man. I was really surprised that you said yes straight away. Because I don't know what it would do for you, but it really helps me, and you're doing me the favor. That's just flat out saying that. So straight up, bro, thanks heaps, man.
It's all good.
Yeah, cool. So basically, first off, let us know a little bit about yourself, Jamie, and then we'll go from there.
Don't look into the camera. Well, like you said before, my name is Jamie Henry. You stated what I already do, which is play rugby in Japan. Been doing that for the last 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
You and I go way back. We've been friends since primary school, so I just wanted to help out and be some kind of help towards you moving forward with this podcast, and just happy to be a part of it.
Bro, straight up, you've done heaps, but it's funny that you say I've known you since we're 5 years old. Yeah. So 29, that's 24 years. So that's a long ass time.
Yeah, it's a long time, but it doesn't feel like a long time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, hard. So basically, with Jamie being on board, the main thing that we wanted to talk about was that life of a professional rugby player, right? So I'm a fan. I'm not a professional rugby player, so I have a stereotype or view of what it's like to be a pro rugby player, and there'll be other kids who are the same as me, fans, but even people who want to become rugby pro players. And it's better to hear from people like yourself that are actually going through it, because obviously it's a massive blessing financially and doing what you love, but not everything can be perfect. And just with the media and just people in general, you can glamorize something to the point of when people actually get there, it's not what they expect. So first off, I guess you've, like I said before, you've played for Japan against the All Blacks, which is mean. You played for the Sunwolves, and you got to play against the Blues, which is, I know the Blues were someone that you grew up loving. And bro, just a quick one before bandwagon Queensland fans, bro. You were Queensland to the death, eh?
I remember back at school, when New South Wales had their dominance, and one guy that always rubbed it in whenever Queensland lost was Livingston. Livingston, if you get to view this, man, I used to get so annoyed when you would rub it in. Like, this guy, you would piss me off too, but Livingston just out of nowhere just come out of blues. Yeah, New South Wales. I'm like, bro, where did you come from? So, but nah, yeah.
Oh, true that.
Yeah.
Old living, eh?
Old Livingston,
bro, straight up, number one Queensland. Number one, I remember, I probably used to watch rugby when I was little, but I remember you telling me you loved Aaron Major. the Blues, the Warriors, all those teams that some don't suck anymore, but some still suck. But bro, honestly, you are one of the original Queenslanders, bro, straight up. So you've also played against the Blues. You played for Toyota in the, what's the comp called?
Japan Top League.
Japan Top League. So how does young Māori young man from Central Auckland end up in Japan? Where did it all start? Like, how did you get on the plane to Japan?
Basically, it started year out of school. We all graduated from this out of Mount Russell Grammar.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of in between deciding what I wanted to do, which is either just work here in New Zealand, play rugby, or go to Australia and work there. And then out of the blue, from our high school coach.
Stop, bro. Sorry, bro. I couldn't remember. Were you playing rugby that year?
No.
You weren't playing rugby that year, eh?
All I was doing was playing touch, rep touch, and trying to get into playing league. But then I just figured I'd just work.
Yeah.
And to be honest, once I left school, I had no real aspirations to play rugby professionally, because I thought that ship has sailed.
Bro, I was gonna ask you that towards the end.
Yeah.
Because you're at where you're at, but I was gonna ask you at the end, did you actually have ambitions to crack it? Because a lot of our mates did, but I never knew if you did, because I would have just answered that question, but I actually didn't know that's what I was gonna ask you. So the answer's not really.
No, to be honest, going through school, I felt like I didn't get many opportunities in first 15 to play, and that's because there are a lot better players ahead of me in the positions I wanted to play. So the limited game time I got in Mount Russell kind of made a decision for me straight away. Like, I'm not that I thought I was any good or bad, I just thought it's not for me.
Yeah, it's like the decision's kind of made for you at that point anyway.
At that point in time, I just thought, I've never really made any rep teams.
Yeah.
I probably not looked at it in that kind of way, so I just decided just to work, play touch.
Yeah.
And touch was something I felt I was good at.
Yeah.
And then, so past that point, there was a scout from a university in Japan who come to New Zealand and asked our head coach at Mount Russell, Nick, if he had any players that he could recommend to take up a 4-year scholarship in Japan, playing rugby and studying.
So off the bat, it was 4 years?
Off the bat, it was 4 years.
Oh, true, yeah.
And so Nick suggested myself and one of our good mates, Karakina Funaki, and another guy from St. Paul's there, I couldn't remember his name.
Oh, true.
So there was 3 of us. We were at Mount Roskill, the fields, doing testing, which was like just a 40-metre sprint, 60-metre sprint, 100-metre sprint, and a vertical jump, and also believe it was some kind of fitness testing. Yeah. And so I ended up doing quite well in that, and that's how I got my opportunity to go to Japan. Yeah. So I performed in that little test, and then that's how I was able to make my way over to Japan on a 4-year scholarship to play rugby and also study Japanese and study.
True. But I remember hearing about that before, and I crack up because it's kind of like they're saying, "But who's the fastest out of you? We'll take you."
That's what it felt like. Like, if I'm being honest, it was just like, oh, who's faster? Yeah. And sorry to my mate Gina, but
bro, that's crack up. No character test, no personality. It's like, bro, who's the fastest, bro?
I think that's because they have a perception of every Kiwi player in New Zealand that they're a good rugby player. Yeah. So the position they were looking for was an outside back.
Oh, so they just want that specific thing.
Yeah, which was they're looking for someone that was quite quick. Yeah. Although at the time I didn't think I was that fast. Yeah. But just faster than you know.
Bro, so you know when you get when you get told, okay, it's you, and it really is up to you whether you want to go or not. What was weighing up, and how did that feel? Because bro, Australia is one thing, but Japan, bro,
If I'm being honest, like it was just an opportunity to get out of New Zealand because we've been to Australia.
Oh, yeah, true.
And just to do something like with my life, I thought, I'm just working in New Zealand, playing touch, trying to play league. But here I have an opportunity to go study a different country and play rugby also. So I had no hesitation about going. It was more so my older sister Tony. At first she was a bit concerned for me because my parents were happy for me, but my older sister Tony was
just looking out for you.
Yeah, true. Kind of looking at the good side, but also the bad side as well. As older siblings do. But no, it worked out. It's
kind of good, because you said that you weren't playing rugby at the time, and it's kind of cool because pretend that you were on the radar a bit, that anything that might make you want to stay it wasn't there. So like you said, you had no real hesitation, eh?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't make any rep teams growing up. Barely played in the first 15, played a few games that I was happy with, but no real aspirations at that point in time. And then when I got that opportunity to go for that 4-year scholarship to play rugby and study, I took it with both hands, and I never hesitated one bit.
I was going to ask you, and you touched on it before, that obviously Japan loves rugby, and they, you're a guy from New Zealand who's coming for rugby, so even if it's not fair or not, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but there should have been pressure on you because you're some unknown guy coming from New Zealand that plays rugby. It's not like they're going to think about it, every New Zealander can't be good. It's just like, bro, they'll see the All Blacks, they'll see Daniel Carter, all those kind of guys, and think this guy's a rugby player from New Zealand. Would you say there was pressure like that you were thinking at the time?
At the time, when I was going over, I don't think there was any pressure until I actually got there.
Oh, true.
Yeah, and
we're just going for free.
To be honest, I was like, I'm out of a 4-year scholarship, get to play rugby. Come on. And then there was another guy who was in his 4th and final year who went Wesley College. And he was telling me, bro, like they expect a lot from us because foreign players in university rugby at that time were the minority. There was only a small group, and there was a lot of pressure heaped on them. Like not at just my university, but other universities as well. So it was until I got there, then he explained to me, like, this is quite a big challenge. Like a lot of you're gonna be scrutinized. It's not like on like a national scale, but within the university competition, you're looked at to be like the difference between other teams.
Oh yeah, because you're that foreigner.
Because you're the import. And I don't really understand until we had pre-season games, played quite well, and then we head into the season. And that's when, at that time, my university was only in 2nd division.
Oh, okay.
And they come down from 2nd division, from 1st division to 2nd division. And so there was a lot of pressure on us foreigners to help the team get back up to 1st division.
Oh, true.
So that's where I found the pressure was halfway or towards the business end of that season. My first year, I played horrible, and then I got dropped. I don't think I'd get dropped.
True.
And so
so your first game you didn't play that well?
No, like in the season it was fine, played well, did everything I could, but it was the second to last season game.
You got dropped off from one game?
Yeah, from one game.
True.
Because at that time you couldn't have 2 foreigners on the field in university rugby, and there was 3 of us at the...
Oh, true. So, you can't all be on, eh?
Can't all be on, and it was my first year, I don't really know the language. So there was 2 backs and a forward, and I played horrible in my second to last game, and I got dropped completely out of the team.
True.
And we made the promotion relegation, thankfully, but I never got to play in it, and that's when I felt the pressure. Kind of felt embarrassed as well, because come all the way from New Zealand and get done by some Japanese players.
And you can't tell if they're talking smack about you, eh?
Not at that point, eh?
True that.
So I felt a bit embarrassed about that, but from that the end of my first year onwards, I realised there's a lot of pressure on us. We need to perform.
Yeah.
And I just took it off that.
True. So, what was, if you could name 2 things that when you went to Japan, there'd be obviously a culture shock. What were 2 things, and if there are 1 or 2 things in particular that was a shock to you?
The first and obvious point would be I assumed they could speak English in Japan.
Oh.
So I went over, got into the airport, and then I was just asking around for help in English, and no one could understand me. So true. That's when I realised, sharks, they don't speak English here. Yeah, and I was a little bit freaked out a bit.
True.
Yeah, so that one was, I assumed they could speak enough English for foreigners.
Hard.
Nah, it was Jack, bro, and I was
true.
Buzzing out. And then the second one was there's a real big emphasis on culture there with the younger generation, older generation. So in Japanese they call it senpai kohai. So senpai being the older guys, kohai being the younger people. They have to be real respectful to the senpais, otherwise the senpais can do what they want to the younger players, people. So that I found that was in some way in Māori and Pacific Island culture as well, similar, but I think it's a lot worse over there.
True.
Yeah, so as a kohai, as a younger person, you have to be real respectful, and if you don't, it's up to the senpai to do whatever they want.
True. So there'll be a good thing because it teaches the young ones to respect. But do you find sometimes maybe the older ones take advantage of it?
Yeah, some I witnessed my first year would take advantage of that whole senpai kohai relationship.
So is it like a culture thing in Japan, but it would be for your team too?
Yeah, it's just to do with the culture itself.
Just Japan, the whole. Oh, true.
Which is a good thing too, because a lot of the young ones going into youth and adulthood, they have a lot of respect for elders. True. So in some ways it looks quite tough, but overall I think it's probably one of the best things about the culture as well.
True that. True. So we're talking about how you're playing 15s, right? And for the university, but you made your mark, I'm not saying you didn't make a mark in union, but you've done a lot of 7s, How did you go from how do you end up going to uni and playing 15s to playing 7s for so long? Because you play for the Sunwolves in that now, but not that long ago you were all 7s, I never thought you would. I'm pretty, it's still surprising that you play 15s after all that time you've done 7s.
I think with the uni rugby scene as well, right at the beginning of the pre-season, there's 7s tournaments done. Played between other universities. And that's where you do all your off-season training and you head into pre-season, but right before pre-season there's 7s tournaments. And
it's just like in Auckland, how they do that. With the clubs.
But this is in the uni as well, so a lot of the university teams put teams in for the 7s. And that's kind of where I think with my touch background, I felt like I excelled a bit in the 7s arena compared to 15s. But when I've graduated from university, that's when I got I got a bit of interest towards the end of
towards the end of uni.
Towards the end of uni, to ask if I wanted to represent Japan in 7s.
True.
And then when I first went to Japan, I jumped at the chance to go to university. So when they offered that, the chance to trial for the 7s team, that's where I took the opportunity, and that's how I got into the 7s team.
True. What can you talk us through that first 7s try, that one that went viral, that dive? When that was it against? It was not. I'm saying bad, but it was.
I know what try you're talking about.
When the black guy's chasing you, and he nearly caught you, even though he had a 40-meter head start.
He had the angle, which.
Well, that makes it harder, doesn't it?
If the angle it's good enough. It's better for you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Why would I lie?
I'm just saying. But okay, tell me right now. I thought if you have the angle, it means it's harder because you got an angle, like, you know what I mean? Well, how is it easier?
Because he was fast.
Bro, obviously I've known you for ages. I know that when you are tired, I know that face, bro. And bro, you look tired, bro.
I was tired, like that game. So I think that was in 2014.
Yeah.
So I made my debut in 2013. Played right, and then 2014 the next year we put that game was against South Africa.
Oh yeah.
And they're still like right, they're top 3 in sevens, top 4.
True.
And at the time they were like, I think 1 or 2.
People, the link for his try, I'll put it in the description, so definitely go and check it out. But what do you remember much of it? Like,
yeah, I remember, like you said, like I was tired because it was.
It's sevens, frick.
Yeah, sevens obviously the same size field, 7 players on the field, 7 minutes, but you're covering a lot of ground within each 7 minutes, so each half.
Yeah.
So I think I was in halfway through the second half, and I was like stuffed there. I was looking to the bench to come off. And then they had just scored, South Africa, and they kicked it off to us, and I went the opposite side to me, and I was like, yes, I get to rest.
Yeah, because they done the cross kick to you, eh?
Yeah. And then somehow we ended up with like 5 players to the left side of the field.
Yeah.
And it was just me and one other guy on the right side, and I was just resting because I was tired, man, like trying to sub myself off.
Yeah.
And then one of the boys kind of just ran crossfield, and I just put my hand up for a crossfield.
Oh, true.
Yeah, and he actually kicked it, and it went end on end, and so I chasing it bounced up perfectly for me. And so I was able to get away from one of the covering defenders, and then I was like, oh, I want to score. And then out of nowhere, like this guy, Jumbo Olango from South Africa, one of the fastest dudes I've ever seen, just chased me down, and I was thinking, I'm going to get caught.
Yeah, so like, you know that last 7 meters?
Yeah.
What are you thinking, bro? Like, oh, I'm going to get caught, I'm going to kill, and then you make the decision to actually freaking dive.
I think, like, because mainly in touch, I'd be a winger.
Yeah.
Link or wing, and then it's kind of in touch, you're used to diving.
Oh, yeah, true.
Like, as you would say, dramatic dives and stuff.
I'll get to that later, mate.
Come on, bro.
I'll get to that theatrical dive. Bro.
And then, like, I kind of knew I could dive, but I kind of knew I had to dive because, man, he just come out of nowhere, and I was, like, on E.
Yeah.
And then I think once I got close enough to the 5 meter line, that's when I knew, I can make it.
Man, that is crazy, man. And then you done a second one, eh?
Yeah, did I? Oh no, yeah, in Dubai sevens, I think.
It's crack up because I should introduce you to him, but Mavs' brother was, because he used to live in Dubai. He was there at the ground, bro.
Oh yeah, I think I seen your comment on someone's comment on Facebook. Or
it was him. I should have. Oh man, I should introduce to him. He's a big fan, but yeah,
Facebook's talking about.
He was there.
No.
He was there. He was in Dubai.
Oh yeah.
But man, that first one.
In Dubai. It's Dubai, mate, not Tongan.
Bro, were you in your Tongan jokes? One thing I want to ask you in particular is how did you feel when it was confirmed that you will play against the All Blacks?
I was pretty stoked because the week before...
The Barbarians, eh?
Yeah, the 15 game.
Yeah.
Got to play that.
I was saying it wasn't Barbarians, eh?
Get your facts right. So I got to play that, and I felt like just through injuries alone within the squad, I'd be within the chance to play against All Blacks.
Yeah.
And then one of my really good mates, Mono Lemeki, got injured in training.
Yeah. Was he a winger?
Yeah, he played on the right wing.
Yeah.
He got injured, and they told me to jump to right wing, and I never really play right wing. It's usually left wing or fullback.
Yeah.
But I don't mind playing either wing. But when they confirmed, they said I'll be starting on the right wing. I was pretty happy because my man Mum was there at the time in Japan.
Yeah.
So for her to get to watch that was quite cool.
That is against the All Blacks, eh? Did they tell you at training, oh, you'll start there?
No, I knew when the bro went down, like it was a hemi.
Yeah.
And hemis take a good, depending on the grade.
Yeah.
Take a bit of time to recover, so I thought, they chucked me straight into the right wing, so
yeah.
I just thought, I'll be playing.
Yeah,
and
true.
Then, they confirmed the next day and said, you'll be starting.
Fuck, man, against the All Blacks, bro.
Yeah,
bro,
quite cool.
And when there's guys like Corner that we play touch with, when you, after that game, bro, we were buzzing out because you scored against them, and not a lot of people can say they scored a try against the All Blacks. Like, there'll be heaps of mean-ass players that can't say that.
Yeah.
So do you remember that try, how it went down?
Yeah, we were like, we were pressing the line against them quite hard, but being the All Blacks, their defense was really strong.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's their top team or not.
Yeah.
B team, C team, whatever.
Yeah.
You play for All Blacks, you're there for a reason.
Yeah.
And so, we just keep trying to score for our forwards, and then we got an advantage, and our 10 just chucked it out to one of our other centres. He got stopped, but then the 10 just followed and looped around. Yeah. And that kind of sucked everyone in. And then I was just, as a winger, you're just supposed to just hug the touchline. Yeah. Because if the defence gets sucked in, there's got to be space out wide. So yeah, he got a quick offload and just chipped it over for me, and it bounced short from where I was, but it bounced with a bounce to go into my hands. Yeah. And so from that point I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna score against the All Blacks.
Woo! Bro, I remember come on bro. Bro, and
I remember you messaging me.
I messaged you, bro. I go, hey, bro, first, you're the man. Congrats on everything. And then I'm sure I sent you that message. And then I thought, because I didn't want to be a dick and be like giving you crap. And I was like, nah, hey, was that dive necessary?
Very necessary.
Bro, and that's what he said. Very necessary. Bro, and the reason why I asked you that, I can't remember times at school or anything about your dive. Oh, bro, remember the one you done in the Gold Coast?
No, I can't remember. Did I?
I'd seen it just in the last second. Like, we were beating them by heaps. Yeah. And then it was... like, I can't remember, like maybe like you just have to dive and put it down, like that. It was kicked and dive and put it down, but bro, you done the whole swan dive to put 2 fingers on it. But bro, the one I remember the most is you know how you'd help us out for touch at Gribblehurst. Yeah. And remember we played Bryn Hall's team?
Oh yeah.
Anyway, bro, this guy. It wasn't like the sevens where someone was gonna catch you. It was he had a clear. Was it Bryn Hall chasing him?
No, like Bryn chucked the ball. Yeah. Like he tried to cookie step back. Touch people know what it is, and I read it, so I intercepted it, and then he chased me the whole way. Yeah. And if I felt like if I didn't dive, he could have dived at my leg and touched my legs.
Bro, no way. You either slowed down on purpose or you unnecessarily, bro. But don't interrupt me when I'm telling you something, please. Bro, this guy had a runaway. Bryn Hall was far away, bro. Oh, not far away because he's fast. Yeah. But bro, if you had $1 million and someone said, bro, bet me $1 million that Bryn Hall's gonna get him, I'll bet straight away. This guy, instead of just running and putting it down, he done like this little arc, ran and done this dramatic ass dive in the corner. I was like, oh my god.
No, what you gotta remember is, like Jumbo and Ango in the sevens, Bryn had the angle. He was right next to me. He was right next to me, so that's the reason to kind of dive out and score in the corner.
I don't know, bro. I don't know, but
I know,
mate. But
to answer your question, yes, it was necessary.
What'd you say?
It was necessary because if I didn't, Richie Mongo would have been in a position to make a body tackle on me, therefore you might have been able to hold me up over the line.
Oh, yeah.
Try going begging.
Bro, you've known Tongans all your life. You should know some mo'unga, bro. Mo'unga.
No, I'm going with the New Zealand media.
With Justin Marshall's pronunciation.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Don't ever do it again.
So, bro, on a semi-serious note, I remember it was because they had, was the Olympics last year? Or the year before?
2016.
Okay, so well, whenever the Olympics was, they had sevens for the first time, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't even think it was you posting it up, but someone else posting up that, you know, we hope you get to play for Japan.
Yeah.
And then, long story short, you didn't get to play for Japan.
Yeah.
And was it passport issues?
Yeah. So at the Olympics, you have to have the passport for the country you're going to represent.
Yep.
So you have to be a citizen of that country.
Yep.
And my citizenship didn't come through until a few months after the Olympics. So,
Oh, true.
and in all honesty, and not being cocky, like I felt I would have been in the team,
Yep.
and I had been told that too.
Yep.
And the coach at the time gave me ample amount of chance to obtain my citizenship, get my passport, and even fly over and meet the team there.
Yep. Just every single opportunity.
Yeah, leaving the door open for me, but however, it wasn't meant to be, and I was fine with that. I knew the time frame of me obtaining citizenship, Japanese citizenship, was going to be real close to the timing of the Olympics. So
Yeah.
I went into it knowing that I'm a chance of making it, but
Yeah.
I'm also a chance of not going, which was fine to me.
Well, there you saying it's fine. I was going to ask it next because obviously it's history because it's the first time, sevens.
Yeah.
Bro, the Olympics,
Yeah.
far. You know, Super 14 and that's awesome. And the Olympics is just a different beast, Anyway, what I was going to ask is because I asked you, I can't remember if it was on the phone or whether I saw you and I go,
I think it was over the phone.
yeah, over the phone. Yeah, and then I was like, bro, I basically said, you know, what are you up to? And you told me that you're not going. And then I said, are you okay?
Yeah.
And then I can't remember the convo perfectly, but I remember the word you used was content.
Yeah.
And honestly, bro, that blew me away, man, straight up, because, man, to be content, and like, you have every right to be content because of what you've done, even at that point.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? Like, you can have a lot of what ifs, and I know it's not good to live in the what ifs, but the Olympics is something that's just a whole nother beast. So, what do you tell yourself during it, and even after it, even though it's confirmed, like, because even during it, you can be like, there's a little hope, there's a little hope, but then you get told no, or you know it's a no. What do you tell yourself to be content? Because that's massive, bro.
I think everyone's situation's different and whatever you're doing, but my one was me going into it. I knew from the get-go that there's a chance that I won't make it because of the citizenship not being obtained in time.
So part of it was you had that you knew.
Yeah, I knew, and once it was confirmed, like, I was okay with it.
Yeah.
I knew that yes, the Olympics is cool. There's going to be another Olympics 4 years from that point in time.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I was content with it. But at the end of the day, like, I gave it my best, and
Yeah.
it wasn't through lack of trying that I didn't go.
Yeah.
It was just through all the background stuff of obtaining the Japanese citizenship is why ultimately I believe I didn't go to that Olympics.
Yeah.
So I was more than content with how everything panned out because I gave it my best.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man, because obviously when me and you talk, you can say anything you want, I've known you for ages, but when you said that, I was blown away, man. I was like, even with little things I get pissed off.
Yeah,
but
same, me too.
Yeah, I know, but like, I really, but straight up, man, I'll never forget that. But that's cool that you let us know. So now onto the World Cup. So you're ruled out through injury, right?
Yeah.
Can you please explain how your injury happened?
So,
well, I know there's two parts, like the first part and the second part.
Yeah, so basically what happened was during a Super Rugby campaign with the Sunwolves, and we played the Reds, lost to them, flew back to Sydney, and preparing to play the Brumbies the week later.
Yeah.
And after a training session, we had a recovery, so beach recovery.
Yeah.
Or pool recovery.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to the beach with some of the other guys. And the long story short, just got caught in a wave, couldn't get out of it, and just got smashed into the ground.
Shoulder, eh?
Shoulder. I knew I was in a bad position because I was halfway up it.
Yeah.
Tried to swim out of it, couldn't, just braced myself for impact and then hit my shoulder in the sand. And then I knew something was wrong when I was walking back to the hotel. However, I didn't know the full extent of it.
Yeah. And you're still healing it. You're still healing, eh?
Yeah.
And how many months ago was that?
This was May. Beginning of April, beginning of May. And so, I had it checked out by a specialist. They said there's a fracture in the scapula.
Yeah.
Which I thought, okay, so it's only a fracture. Like fractures heal within 4 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Plus rehab could be back in 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, which I thought would have given me ample amount of time to push for a World Cup spot.
Yeah.
However, later diagnosis showed that there was nerve damage in it as well. Which,
true.
if anyone out there knows about nerve damage, you can't rush it, but you can't rush back from that.
Yeah.
Because if you were to hit that spot or and around that spot again, potentially it could be even worse than your first injury.
Yeah.
So that's how it happened, and it's just one of those things. But
true. And bro,
stuff happens.
And it's just like the Olympics, bro. When I talked about the World Cup and you were saying you're okay with not going, and you are ultra competitive, bro. When I sass you at video games and stuff.
Not even.
Okay, let's not get into it.
No, bro, let's get into it. You did not. I thought Street Fighter, you sassed me.
Tekken.
Yeah, Tekken, tomatoes. But any rugby game, I say this. Come on,
bro. Your wins end on the real field, bro. When it comes to the... I didn't play you that night,
bro. You don't need to play. You don't want to play this. You don't want to play this.
Bro.
Rima doesn't want to play this.
Bro, so it's, staying on your injury, that's not your... You've had another one, eh? Like, was it your ankle or something?
Yeah, I had Jones fracture, which is I split the bone on my right foot.
Damn.
That kept me out for a year. So the
reason I brought that up is that that's so your shoulder is pretty bad, but it's not your first bad injury. Apparently, because like I said, bro, I'm a fan. I'm not a rugby player. Like I heard that with rugby players, like injuries are one of the most stressful times that you can have. Like when it's for some people anyway, like that, it's a really stressful time. If there was a kid listening or someone watching that's on the cusp of breaking out or anything like that, and they have their first major injury, because you've had more than one, what would your advice to them be about that injury? I mean, it doesn't have to be anything in particular, but it's serious.
If it's a serious, first it will depend on the injury and how severe it is.
Yeah.
If it's a serious injury, I'll just say you surround yourself with a good support group.
Yeah.
Family, friends. Obviously, you'll have your specialist view it and whatnot.
Yeah.
But you just got to remember, it's an injury, it's part of the sport. You just got to do your rehab, do all your little things to get back to where you can be in a position to train. So, like injuries come off any type of professional sports. You play in. It's remember, professional sports is a performance-based job as well. So if you don't perform, you can get cut. So
is that why? Sorry, two things. So is the reason why it can be so stressful is because ultimately it is performance, and you can't perform if you're injured or it affects your performance. Is that the main reason why it's stressful? I think it depends on the individual on what they're going through at the time. A lot of players deal with injuries differently. Some can have it be real stressful because they could be, for example, beyond their final year of their contract. Oh yeah,
could
true.
Be a big injury.
Timing, eh?
Yeah.
True.
The club might not want to resign them. So you're left doing your rehab, hoping that your agent can get like another gig somewhere.
True.
Or some could just be you've trained so hard, you put on all this hard work and an injury.
Just the emotional side as well.
The injury cuts you down and you're left thinking, man, lot of what we touched on before, a lot of what ifs, or shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just a lot of how you perceive the injury, how you take it, and just if you have a good amount of support around you.
So when you say, because I've heard that before, where people say make sure you surround yourself with people that will affect you positively. Is that part of the reason would be when you just let stuff get to you to a certain point? Is that kind of what you want to avoid? Yeah. Okay.
Like for my situations, with my major injuries, it was always my fiancée Holly.
Yep.
She's like been my rock through my whole career. She's helped me through all my injuries, little or big.
Yep.
Personal tragedies, triumphs and stuff. So she's been there when I was a nobody, which I still think I am.
Well, in that modest way.
Yeah. She's been there for like when we've had nothing to where we are now, where I've been quite fortunate to be in the best position. Rugby wise and the other side. So just speaking on my experience, like Holly has helped me through all my injuries.
And Holly's your fiancée for anyone who...
Holly's my fiancée.
For any girls that have their high hopes. True that.
That boat sailed long ago, ladies.
That's mean, man. So, obviously, when you went to Japan, 19 years old. 19. So 19 years old. Obviously, you know what it's like to be a pro rugby player right now, and you've got 10 years of experience. That would be different to what the Jamie at 19 years old thought. What it's like to be a pro rugby player. What advice, because you've had 10 years down the track, what advice would you give to a 19-year-old or anyone else? Advice as in, if they asked you, what are 2 things that I need to stay solid on in terms of anything, whether it's training or whatever, what are 2 things that are non-negotiable that they need to do, that without it they're not going to crack it?
One, I would say commitment. You've got to be committed to your cause and what you want to achieve. So with being a professional rugby player, I can only speak on my experience, but it was having to stay fit. Being committed to staying fit and working like on your skills and whatnot. One would be being committed to what you need to do. Commitment. And the second one is being adaptable. Adaptable? Yeah, adaptable/coachable.
Oh, okay.
So you could be like the most talented person in the world, but some coaches coach differently, and some players react to coaches differently as well.
And you see it on the news and they like blah blah blah, have a fallout, this person's leaving the true.
So I think you got to be adaptable in your approach to a coach, or just got to be coachable. So when you say commitment, obviously everyone is going to be like, of course you got to be committed, but it can't be, it has to be harder than you think. I think it's harder than everyone thinks, because if it was easy, every under 18, 19
would go the whole way.
20-year-old will make it, but there's only a small few that play professional rugby. Whether you're come out in New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, or England, or whatever. Like, it's for the amount of numbers there is, that for the players that want to make it, no one really makes it.
It looks like there's heaps of pro rugby players, but bro, if you counted how many people want to be it, it'll be ruthless, eh?
It would be, like, everyone wants to do it, but there's a lot of like hard work that goes into it, like a lot of sacrifices.
True. So commitment and being adaptable, coachable.
That's off the top of my head is what I'll go off.
Cool. So with obviously you were saying with commitment, I was going to ask you, you would have had to sacrifice some important things, or just some things you wanted to do. It doesn't have to be important, but you want to do it. Can you think of anything in particular that you've had to give up? More so, maybe not the last. We won't count your daughter in it, or anything like that, like time limit. But before that,
I think it was just missing out on time spent with family and friends in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Like, obviously being in Japan, like 8-10 hours away on the plane.
Yeah.
And just you have to be willing to sacrifice all of that.
Yeah.
Like missing out with good times with your friends and family.
Yeah.
That's probably the one that gets
Just missing out with people.
Yeah.
Memories and all that kind of stuff, eh? Okay, so a lot of people would have known because you obviously followed a lot on social media. Well, compared to the normal person.
I don't know if I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, oh yeah, well.
Yeah.
Okay,
maybe just within our group of friends.
Yeah. Well, so not too long ago, your father passed away, and it was through cancer.
Yeah, cancer.
Cancer. What year was that?
That was 2013.
2013.
Yeah, so like 6 years ago.
So, like we were saying before, with people who work 9 to 5s, like myself, anyone else, when tragedy happens, you can take time off, or anyone can take time off, but it's different for us because, our jobs can stay at work, and they can give us as much time to do whatever it is we need to do, and then we get back there.
Yeah.
But just tell me if I'm wrong to think that it's way different for a professional rugby player.
Yeah.
Or professional sportsman, like, you know what I mean? Like, so how did that tragedy affect you in terms of your career? And how did you deal with it?
Yeah, like when it happened, I was in the process of trialing for the Japan Sevens team.
Yeah.
And by that point I knew the old man was quite, far along.
Yeah.
And then I kind of knew like, oh man, he might be on his deathbed.
Yeah.
Which he was. And when I told him that, I remember the whole last conversation I had with him.
Yeah.
I remember talking with him, asking how he was, seeing if he was doing well, like on FaceTime.
Yeah.
And progressively through the last 2 weeks, every time we FaceTime, it kind of got worse and worse.
Yeah.
And like I'd be a lot more tired. The next time I talked to him, I'd be struggling to get words out. So when I told him that I made the Sevens team, that I made it, I could see like the relief and happiness on his face.
Hey, so was that on the last week of his life?
That was like half an hour before he passed away.
Honest.
So I told him that, I made it, Dad.
Yeah.
And he was like, like in his dying voice, I'm happy for you, son. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll see you later. Bro, I know this. But when I think about it, it's quite sad.
Yeah.
And then, bro, like I told him I made it, he was happy. I told Mum I made it, she was happy. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go dinner.
Yeah.
And
so sorry. So you're saying half an hour before it. When you're saying it, you don't know in the next half an hour, eh?
Nah.
True.
Yeah. So I remember clearly. I said, I made it. Yada, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna go dinner now.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you. Like, ring me if anything happens, or like call me back. And Dad was like, okay, love you, son. I was like, I love you too, Dad. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Like no kid. Like half an hour later, I got off the phone at 5:45.
Yeah.
And I got a call back at like 6:11. Like
true.
Almost half an hour later.
Yeah.
And it was from Dad's phone, and I knew I was already at dinner, and I knew, oh man, this is it.
Yeah. And they wouldn't just call you back, eh?
Yeah. No one. I usually talk like every day.
Yeah.
So when they call back straight away, and then when I seen my sister's husband Eddie on the phone, I was like, that's when I knew. Oh yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Oh, because he would be. I mean, he would be sad, but he'd be able to tell you, eh?
Yeah. But like, no, because usually it would be Mum or Dad answering the phone.
Yeah.
And when it was Eddie on Dad's phone calling,
true.
I was like, oh yeah. And then I remember I answered the phone, and he was like, hey G, and I was like, oh hey, is it Dad? And he was like, yeah. I said, oh okay, sweet. And
true.
Then they flipped the screen. I could see Mum hugging Dad.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew. I was like, okay, sweet. True. And I'd just been told I was going to make my debut the following week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so I had to like go tell the coaches, oh, I'm out.
Oh, okay. Is that when you came back here?
Yeah, for Dad's Tangihill funeral.
Was Holly living with you in Japan by then?
Not yet.
True.
She was back here, so to answer your question, like it affected me in a way where I didn't want to go back to Japan.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, like,
Yeah. It affected me in that way, like I didn't want to go back to Japan straight away. I still wanted to go back, but I don't want to go back straight away.
Yeah, no rush to go back.
Yeah, and then it was more so Mum saying, oh, son, you need to go back.
Yeah.
Like, you know, your father will want you to go back to play in the Tokyo Sevens, and then I was kind of humming and hurrying about it, like, oh, should I go back or not? And then you had a few words with Holly, my fiance, and then she just said, if you want to go, you should go. Your dad would want you to go as well.
And no one at all will give you baggage for if you went back in.
Yeah.
Especially if your mum said that.
Yeah.
If anyone was to say stay, it would be your mum.
Yeah, so like it affected me in that way where I didn't want to go back, but Mum wanted me to go back.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, it helped me as I went into my debut tournament.
Yeah.
For Sevens, because I felt like I spent all that time apart from Dad while he was on his deathbed. Like I owe him that much.
Yeah, hard
to have a good tournament, and I felt like I had a really good tournament.
That's the first. There's a mini interview on that, eh? That's the first. That's the only. I've seen like little ones on the field and that. But that's the first like kind of mini. But it's a short one, eh?
Yeah, I think there was. If it's just that voice clip one, they interviewed me straight after the game because we beat Canada the first game.
Yeah.
And at that time Japan didn't really win much games in sevens at that point.
So it was a big deal.
Yeah, so we're happy as, and then that's how it got brought up. And so we're happy to get a try on debut and win that first game for the old man.
Bro. So that's your dad, but now you're the big daddy.
Always was, mate.
Small capital letter, small lowercase.
Capital D.
Like
for daddy. Oh my gosh.
We lasted 15 minutes before you said Nah.
Hey, you did it, mate.
Nah, man, this is what it's about, bro. Straight up. That's. I know you're doing I know that's you to a T. Anyway. What? Bro, I didn't notice, See, I don't look at this mic the same after the way you said it.
How are you looking at the mic? No, go, carry on.
Okay, so with people who aren't professional sports players, right? I'm at work 9 to 5 or 7 to 3 kind of thing, and that's my time away from my family. It's different for sports people, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't, bro. I can't remember. I think it was you, bro. When we met up at Nando, was it Nando's or Portos? One of those things.
Probably Nando's.
Yeah, and you were telling me that you commit yourself to FaceTiming all the time.
I think it was me, you, and Gina.
Yeah, and then when you said that, I think when I was driving home, I was like, "Father!" And then I click, you're in New Zealand playing the Blues, and then you got to play the Brumbies somewhere else. You're not, especially Japan, because your away games are out of the country.
Yeah. So
that would be. Yeah, so what's that like as a challenge, and how do you cope with that challenge in terms of being away from your family?
I think my situation is different because where we are in Japan, we're in a city called Nagoya.
Yeah.
But where the Sun Wars train is in Tokyo, so that's an hour and a half on the bullet train. It's like a 4-hour drive.
True.
That we train out of Tokyo.
So you live somewhere, but you got to train 4 hours away.
No. So I had to move to Tokyo.
Oh, so you live there now?
I moved to Tokyo for the Super Rugby season.
True.
So it was Holly and baby were in Nagoya.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, newborn baby, Holly's there by herself, or her mum was there at the time.
Yeah.
So we trained out of Tokyo, and then our away games were Australia, New Zealand,
Yeah.
South Africa, Argentina.
Yeah. Did you go? Have you been to Argentina?
I didn't go, but I've seen like the teams away games. So it's quite hard because we're in the same country, but I'm up in Tokyo. She's in Nagoya.
Yeah.
And so you have to like make the effort to FaceTime every day because I just had a newborn baby and I wanted to see baby every day.
Yeah,
and Holly too. And guilty. There was times I didn't FaceTime because I was so tired from training and whatnot. But I think it's in my situation is a lot different to someone who's doing Super Rugby in New Zealand because you got your family there. You can go to work, go to training or work, and after you finish you can go home to them. There, for a majority of that Sunwolves team this season, all their families were out of different countries.
So it wasn't just you.
Yeah, so not only myself was going through that, but pretty much the entire team.
Yeah.
There was a lot of imports, a lot of players from New Zealand as well, some from Australia, one from Ireland.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, and South Africans as well. Most of their families were out of the country, so
true.
Yeah, I think it made that team, the bond within the team, really, really strong.
Yeah.
Didn't get the results we wanted.
Yeah.
But Super Rugby stuff, so.
True that.
Yeah, so like I had to make an extra man effort just to FaceTime baby and Holly.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. So, because man, I know people say this all the time, but you're the same guy, definitely the same guy, but you've matured heaps, man. I know you'd probably say that about other people too that you haven't seen in New Zealand, but I'm just saying, like, it's really nice to see, like, someone I've grown up with 20 plus years. This might be a dumb question, who and how. So the first question is, who helps you keep grounded to not turn into the superstar who is not the Jamie from who left? Who keeps you grounded and how do they keep you grounded?
I'd say Holly.
Yeah.
Definitely Holly, family, and also myself. Like, I don't want to be those eats dudes.
So do you commit yourself to not turn into a dick?
Yeah. Like, I don't want to be like, you get some professional athletes in the sport that change when they're on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
I really don't want to be a dick or come across as a dick to people I know.
Yeah.
I might be a dick to people that don't know but they don't know me. I don't know them.
Yeah.
They might see what is shown on TV or whatnot or social media, but I'd say it's Holly, definitely Holly and family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say your mum. Because
it comes on the family.
Well, special,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not just.
it comes on the family.
You should cut.
No, that comes on the family. Think about it.
Nah, that's cool now because the funny thing is.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
And Eddie.
Hey.
Yeah, Eddie, because he went through a lot as a teenager growing up, like as in that professional element.
Yeah.
In the Warrior system, rugby league and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so when I left, he was still like in the Warrior system. When I first went to Japan, he was in that system growing up. And I'd say if there's anyone major outside of Holly and my family, it would be Eddie. Well, Eddie is family, like, because he went through it all at a young age, and he kind of taught me like not everyone makes it.
Yeah. Because bro, sorry to interrupt you, man, but because he had and rightfully so, he had big raps on him, like Thomas looked up to him a lot, man. Yeah. And like you said, really young. Like Bartercard was on while we were still at school, and he was playing, bro, on TV. And not just playing, he was carving up.
Yeah, against men, and it was like 16,
bro, against 17, men, bro, exactly.
Yeah, 17, 18, 17.
Shucks. Oh, true. So both Eddie, he himself gives you advice. Yeah. But you can also, by watching him, to keep grounded. Because bro, he's a good mocker too,
Yeah, he's an eat-ass dude too. But like,
true. Yeah.
Like for everything, he's everything that I've achieved,
Yeah.
he's always been the one there, like in the background. Like I don't think many people know, like in my family as well.
Well, now that you've said his name, I when I ask about your family, I just don't think of Eddie because I just think of your mom, sisters, Adam, mostly Adam because I see him more. Oh no, I don't see him more, but true, that's really good to hear, man.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I don't think much people in like my family know, but like on the low, he would always message me saying like, "Oh, you're doing really well."
Oh, cool, man.
Or don't get like too ahead of yourself and stuff like that.
And it wouldn't. That's stuff you need to hear sometimes, eh?
Yeah, and it's coming from a place of I know what he's done.
Yeah.
And where he's come from and where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Which is mean. So like I look up to that dude.
True.
Like not only in just in for what he done in league and sport, but just as a man too.
Bro, that's mean, bro. So going forward, obviously, like you touched on before, Eddie said that not everyone makes it, but some people do make it.
Yeah.
So, but not, and you see like in the NRL, like some guys who have retired, they'll become a commentator or something like that. Like, have you thought about when rugby is finished, what might you want to do?
I think post career, I haven't really thought in terms of rugby. I don't want to continue into that side of rugby.
Okay, you don't want off-field stuff?
Nah, I think I'm not trying to stay relevant or anything like that.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
Some players like struggle. From what I've read, articles I've read, some struggle out of when they retire.
But you saw about Greg Inglis, eh?
Yeah.
Father was ruthless, eh? Like, because he had that big, I'm not dogging him at all, because who knows what it's like to be a mega star like him.
And then bam.
Yeah, bro, because he looked happy too, like, I've retired, blah, blah, blah. And then he went on that bender and disappeared, eh?
Yeah,
and they were saying he, and then later on it was saying that he's really struggling, like, what to do with himself.
I think because for rugby players, it's like everything's organised, your daily schedule's organised for you.
Yeah.
Like you got to be training at this time, or you got to eat at this time, you got to leave at this time, you got training at this time.
Yeah.
Your down periods, and you got training again, whatnot.
Yeah.
You have dinner, like it's all scheduled for you.
Yeah.
So I think that's what could be the reason for some players struggling out of when they retire. And
that's the thing, we wouldn't know that, eh? Because true, so everything is just, you just got to turn up and give it your all kind of thing. Yeah,
everything like set for you time wise.
True.
So you're going from that, all you've known for like 5, 8, 10 years plus.
Yeah.
And then to just going, okay, waking up.
Yeah, true.
Well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So I think to answer your question, I know what I want to do life after rugby. I want to do something to do with property and whatnot.
Yeah.
I feel like we've made the first step now, so I don't want to stay relevant or whatever after rugby. Like
that's a good way.
I've done my time.
That's a good way to put it, eh? Staying relevant.
Yeah.
Like you still want to be around, kind of thing.
Yeah. Like I'm this guy, blah blah blah. Like,
yeah.
Like that, something to do with property, or even like in like a police force or some type of way to use your. I wanted to use my image of being relevant or whatever, trying to stay relevant or be within that area.
Yeah.
Like policing or something.
Yeah. I remember when we caught up with Kina, and you mentioned, like, it's good because you didn't say you want to be a cop, but it was just something around that kind of field, eh?
Yeah.
And it was mean because you said, because you were telling us, and it was a really good way to put it. You said, with kids out there, you were saying that, if it was along the lines of, if, in my school or my group or whatever, if people picked 3 names that were going to crack it, it wouldn't be your name.
Yeah.
But you cracked it. And it wasn't, and it's cool, it's not in a cocky way or anything like that, but people whose names aren't brought up, you can still do it, eh?
Yeah, like, just on my situation, I never made any rep teams, never really played first 15 as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
But it's about taking the little chances, the opportunities you get, which I did with my one.
when you finish, yeah, go.
Yeah, and so like I never thought, like how we spoke about it before, like you say three players at our school will crack it, like my name wouldn't have come up like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But I think it was once I had the opportunity, I knew what I had, and I wanted to make the most of it.
And you actually realise, fuck, I can actually crack it in.
Yeah.
Talking about taking your chances.
Go.
Do you remember when we played Marceline? And you're playing.
You're too slow, mate.
Bro, this guy, man, freaking hell. But it, honestly, obviously, because I wanted to play. Don't worry about that. Don't interrupt there. No. But we were playing Marceline, right?
Yeah.
And then some guys came, and then me and this guy were on the bench, and then this guy has a lot of friends at Marceline, and they were all on the field, eh?
Yeah.
Longa, Warren, Lua, and he carved up. And it was
Justin, that 10 as well.
Anyway, Tim, who played halfback, gets injured. And like, I know, obviously I wanted to play too, but he knows all those dudes. And then as Nick, the coach, he goes, which one?
Anyone want to play halfback?
Anyone want to play halfback? And then I went to stand up, but this guy stood up while leaning.
No, you stood up to jog onto the field. You know where the new building was?
Yeah.
So
and
you were sitting there. Yeah. And you stood up and you started jogging, and I just went, nah, bro, I sprinted past you. I had to play, bro.
Nah, bro. And then you got the winning try against them.
Yeah.
And our whole team was like, bro, it's good that it was meant to be, bro.
Yeah.
And I remember your mates from us and were crack up. They were like telling jokes while they were playing, eh? I remember Lunga was like in a mall.
Yeah.
And then as he was getting driven back, he's like, it's not fair, these guys do weights. And he's a skinny ass dude. But man, speaking of Lunga, you know, like he got injured and stuff, eh?
Yeah.
And you know, that's like, and he's a really good player, but he's a really awesome dude.
Yeah.
But like, there's no fairy tale sometimes, eh?
Nah, not everyone gets one, eh?
Yeah, and it doesn't mean, and sometimes it's not because you're not good enough. It's just whatever circumstance happens.
I think just with injuries in sport, especially rugby. But he's mean, man. Like,
yeah, bro.
Like, he was right there in the Western Force at that time. I think it was their last year in the Super Rugby.
Man.
And it was right there, and then he did his knee and then got cut. But I kid you not, if he didn't get injured, he'd probably be in Europe somewhere carving up as well.
Fuck.
Or I reckon even in the Wallabies.
Do you know many, if you can't think of them on top of your head, it's okay, but would you know many guys who, if they just got a chance, they could, obviously you're not a fortune teller, you can't say he would have made it, but I'm saying if they got a chance, you're confident that they would have done something?
Yeah, I reckon, like, if we know personally,
you know, that you actually know, like not a professional player. You know what I mean, someone you know, but it just hasn't been given that chance, or you know what I mean, or that exposure.
I reckon, like, if Eddie had been given his chance as well, like in their NRL setup, the Bronx or whatever, like I reckon he would have carved him and. I reckon Junior as well.
Pasoni?
Yeah, Junior Pasoni. I honestly, he was mean, like, you know, our Gold Coast tour?
Yeah.
And he, like, shredded everyone up.
Man.
I reckon if he had his chance, like, he took it serious, he would have been mean.
Because there's a guy that played at White Tech, and he's really good too.
Yeah.
Because his sister's a silver. what's the rugby one? The girl one? Blackfriend.
Is
that it?
Yeah.
His name's Robin. He is freaking mean, and he reminds me of Junior, bro.
Oh yeah.
But like, doesn't really talk.
Yeah.
But like when they play, you know, you just gotta somehow be ready for what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I think because in Junior's case, he was a really good player, but he was confident in anything he did on the field. Like, it might have been like garbage, like Nick might have got angry at him at one point throughout the season or whatever, or throughout that game. Majority of the times he'd always make something out of nothing. Yeah,
like some guys just have that confidence, and it's weird, like you just can't describe it.
I honestly think it's mean,
True, so man,
if he had his chance, he would have I reckon it would have been Super Rugby.
That's who Rima talks about too.
Yeah.
But going forward, it's just flip. But can you explain to us what happened against Auckland Grammar with the touchy flag?
Bro, honestly,
hey,
if I'm being honest, if I'm being honest, what situation is it?
When the guy stepped out, but you said it was a try.
Oh yeah, nah.
Can you tell us? Can you please tell us what happened?
But honestly, like, I wasn't playing.
Yeah.
And I got given a touch judge role.
Yeah. And
I was ball watching from afar.
And wait, this was against Auckland Grammar, right?
Yeah.
And how important was that? And under 15?
Yeah.
How important was that game?
It was really important. Like, if we had won that game,
you would have made the semis, eh?
I think so.
Yeah.
And I was just ball watching, like, from afar, and I was a touch judge for some reasons. Whoever gave me this.
Yeah, you blame them.
Yeah, blame them, alright. And then I was just ball watching. I wasn't even, like, following the play.
Yeah.
And then, the guy stepped out and scored.
So he did step out.
Yeah. He stepped out, scored, but we're only human. The touchy did it against the Raiders. The Storm and Raiders last night. Vunivalu didn't even touch the sideline. But so, he stood out, touched the outline and scored. Yeah. And then the touch judge, the referee asked me, was it a try? And I said, yep. Only because I was pressured from him. I was like 14 at the time.
Bro, you don't remember this either, bro. Come on, he was 14.
But I was 14, I wasn't playing.
Man, 14.
I was only in that team because I was like turning up to train. And I remember Tavita was angry at me, bro. Tavita and Godoni. Yeah. And Bowler. Even Hamed. Bro, they were pissed off at me, G. And I think after that, they were like angry after the game at me. Yeah. And I don't even think I went home with the team, but I can't remember how I got home, but like I remember like, bro, these guys want to give me a hiding, bro.
Shucks. Bro, we've got, just before I forget, we've got some questions from people that were like, can you ask James, because they're going to watch. You know the first question. Yeah. Is Warren. Yeah. How much what's your lucky as in fuck out. What's your best? What's your personal best on the bench press?
Personal best is 170.
Hey!
Yeah.
Are you including the bar?
Yeah.
So without the bar, 150.
Yeah.
150.
That's my personal best.
Okay.
That's no TS.
Well, we can't test that out anyway.
No, that's no big.
Well, we can't test it out anyway. Wow, that's pretty. When was that?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Were you aiming to get a big bench?
I think it was my first year in Toyota. 3 years ago. It was my first year in Toyota, my club team in Japan. And I just wanted to make a good impression. I was like doing a lot of weight training and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, true.
I got somewhat reasonably strong in the gym. Yeah. Because I never really been someone that took the gym serious. Yeah. I wanted to have like big arms and stuff.
Yeah, the usual.
Always been skinny, like summer weight, summer body. Yeah. And then I progressively got stronger, and then I just gave it a crack. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I got another one. I won't say from who.
Yeah.
Do you, when it comes to giving directions, I've got two examples. When we were in the Gold Coast, when we were in the Gold Coast, we went for a walk. The day that we got there, and it was nighttime. You led us away from the school. Oh no, we were out, and you were trying to lead us back. Bro, and you led us down this dark ass, I remember it was downhill and it was a dead end street. And then somehow you got pissed off at us. And
I didn't get pissed off at everyone, I got pissed off at you because, man, you could talk shit at school, man.
Another one was, do you remember that, remember you had that dance comp in Manukau? I wasn't there, but I got told
Oh yeah.
that going there, it was either going there or something to do with there. You said, oh, bro, I know the way. Went down there and the same thing. You said it's down this road. Went down the road and it was a dead end. And then they go, bro, where's this? And your answer, I was here last time. I was here last time. What the hell? Did they shift up the Manukau town centre and move it down? Okay. How do you rate yourself as someone who knows directions?
Right now?
Considering what I just said and other examples that, bro.
Yeah. Like good.
You think you're good?
Yeah.
Honest.
Like you gotta know your bearings. Like you go to one place, you get it wrong, and you'll know from then on.
Okay, so you think you're right.
Now, yeah. Then, bro, you gotta remember, I was like 16.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Remember, I was 16. I didn't have a car.
Yeah.
Might have been there once or twice.
Okay, man.
Yeah.
Cool, bro. That's it from me, man. Bro, thank you very much, bro.
Bro, who said those questions?
If they remain anonymous, then I can't say anything.
Oh, okay.
But if they, yeah. Is there anything that you want to finish off with? Is there anything that you want to say? And then we'll leave it at that.
I just thankful for you giving me this opportunity to help you out with this. You trying to make something out of this. It's quite cool. Like and yeah, just grateful.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, bro, thanks to you, we've got an insight from a perspective of someone who professionally plays rugby, still playing. So anyone out there who wants info, who wants experiences, truth with context around it, not taken out of context, that's the most important thing. So thank you, man. You've blessed us all.
Well, good brother.
Too much, bro.
Roscoe.